Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome. Thank you all for coming. This is Hare Krishna Valley.com.au. So we've been here for about 35 years on this property, this farm, which we have. Srila Prabhupada is the founder of the Hare Krishna movement. That's his picture there on the seat of honor. So he came to America in 1965, and he arrived in New York at the age of 69 years old. So is anyone here 69 or above? Anyone in the room? 69 or above? One gentleman. No. So you can imagine you got on a boat at the age of 69 with $8 in your pocket, and you crossed from India to America on a boat. It was actually a cargo ship. Right? So went all the way to America. 1965 he arrived, and within 12 years, at the age of 69, he starts a worldwide movement which then spreads all across the globe and attracts thousands of followers, and hundreds of temples get opened all over the world, and millions of books get printed and distributed all around the world. So he did this at the age of 69. He is the founder of the Hare Krishna movement. He passed away in 1977. And we continue the Hare Krishna movement by his inspiration. All of the books, you can see on the shelf at the back, all the books that he wrote. His books are like our guiding textbooks for the Hare Krishna movement to continue. So one of his visions was that he would have farming communities, self-sufficient farming communities all around the world. And I think we have around about 60 or 70 farms, Hare Krishna farms all around the world. So he desired that we have these places, so that people could come and learn about natural living and higher thinking. To learn to live naturally, because people are living very artificially. 80% of the population in the Western world, every day when they wake up in the morning, what's the first thing they do?
Check the mobile phone.
Pick up your phone. 80%. 8 out of 10 people pick up their phone first thing in the morning. This is not a particularly enlightened practice. This will not lead to enlightenment unless you're like I do in the morning when I go to have I brush my teeth and everything. I put on a lecture first thing in the morning. I've been doing this for about 35 years. Right? And I listen to spiritually enlightened gurus speak to me about the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. That's how I begin my day. So people are not living a very natural life. So we have places like this where people can come and they can learn a natural alternative of how to live. Natural living and higher thinking. What does higher thinking mean? That we answer the questions of life. We ask the questions of life. Most people don't even ask the questions. Why are we here? What is this for? Who am I? Do you ever ask yourself these questions? Hands up if you ask yourself these questions. Okay, you do. Okay, so we've got an enlightened audience. That's good. So you came to the right place, because we can give you some answers like that. If you might like the answers that we give. We can give those answers. So people sometimes they ask themselves, why am I here? Or we'll start with the first question. Who am I? So if I ask you who you are, what will you say? If I ask you, who are you? What will you say? What is your answer? Yes?
Zoya, because that's my name.
What's that?
My name?
You'll say your name. Very good. You'll say your name. What is your name?
Zoya. Zoya.
I can't hear.
Zoya.
Zoya. Zoya. Okay. So we say you are Zoya. Like that. That's how when people ask them, you say your name. Like I say I'm Keshava. You say you're Zoya like that. It is somewhat correct. Somewhat correct. But at this point in time, people, they have a disease, and that disease is called avidya. What does avidya mean? Yeah, it means ignorance, or it means without knowledge. In other words, not understanding who we actually are. Because people, they identify with the body. Right? You think I'm man or woman. Right? You think I'm from Australia or India. Right? You think I am a doctor or a lawyer. Right? These are all what we call upadhi. Upadhi means bodily designation. But it is not who we actually are. Who we actually are is the soul, the jivatma. Atma means the soul. So when someone asks you, who are you? Right? Probably the more correct answer is aham brahmasmi. I am spirit. I am the soul. So next time you're in Chadstone Shopping Centre and someone walks up to you and says, who are you? You just say, aham brahmasmi.
Aham brahmasmi.
You just say, I am spirit.
Aham brahmasmi.
Right? And then they'll probably go and get the security guards. But then you can deal with that. But the answer is correct. At least your answer is correct. You understand who you are. So the Bhagavad Gita, these ancient teachings from India, the Bhagavad Gita, which is it's like our law book or our guiding book, it teaches us these things. That I am spirit. Dehinosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam jara tata dehantara praptir diras tatra namuyati. Krishna says in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Komaram yovanam jara. Komara means child. Someone's a child. They're in the body of a child. I used to be in the body of a child. Right? I used to have a child body. Right? Komara, yovana. Yovana means youthful. Then you become youthful. You grow up. You become an adult. Jara means you become old. Right? So we go through these changes, but the soul remains the same. Right? So Krishna teaches us in the Bhagavad Gita, you're not the body, you're the soul. Because according to medical science, every 7 years, all the cells in the body, they argue about the brain cells, they're not conclusive about that, but all the cells in the body change every 7 years. Right? So that means you've been through so many bodies. Like I'm nearly 56, that's nearly 8 bodies I've been through. Completely different. None of the cells are the same. But am I the same person? I'm the soul. Right? Atma. And Jivatma, or Aham Brahmasmi, I'm spirit. Does it make sense? So, first of all, you have to answer that question, who am I? That's the first question. So now I've given you the answer. So next time someone meets you, what will you say? And someone says, who are you?
Aham brahmasmi.
Aham Brahmasmi. Yes, I am spirit.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first answer. Who am I? Second question is, why are we here? That's an interesting question. Why are we here? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks of 2 worlds. It's called Paraprakriti and Aparaprakriti. Prakriti means energy. Para means superior, divine. Apara means inferior. So the soul is made of Paraprakriti, or spiritual energy, superior energy. But at this point in time, our soul has fallen into this material world and is covered by this material body, by the material energy, which we are not. The first thing Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita, you are not the body. We are separate from it. Originally, it is said we came from that other world. There are 2 worlds. Hands up if you believe there's another world, or another place, or something higher. Okay, most of you believe. So, in the Bhagavad Gita it says this Paraprakriti is where Krishna lives, or God. Or in India you say, Bhagwan. Bhagwan lives there. Right? It's another world. All the pictures in the back of the temple, they are like windows into the spiritual world. Krishna is the bluish personality. We see God as a bluish cowherd boy. And his spiritual world is full of variety. It's actually called Goloka. Goloka means place of cows. You see in a lot of pictures there's cows. Hands up if you like cows. Okay, after lunch we'll go and visit our cows. Sacred cows. In India we say mother cow, sacred cow, holy cow. So after lunch you can come and visit the holy cows. So Krishna, in the spiritual world, there's lots of cows. And everyone is young, and everyone is youthful, and everyone dances, and they have picnics, and he plays his flute, and they tend the cows. Hands up if it sounds like a good life. And everything is free. You don't have to pay for anything. Everything is free. No one gets old. There's no disease. There's no birth, death, old age, or disease. These things are conspicuous by their absence. There's no taxes. There's no politicians. It's a good place. It's a good life. So, the Hare Krishna movement is teaching us how to go there. Because we were there originally, but Krishna, God, He gives all of us independence. Free will. You all have independence. You can do what you want, to a degree. Right? We all have independence. Like, I can pick up my phone, I can throw it through the window, if I want. Right? I'm not going to do that because then I have to ring someone to come and fix the window, and it's like, and it'll be cold, the wind will come through, and all of you will probably never come back again. And, there's many reasons why I wouldn't do it, right? But I could do it if I wanted. I have a certain amount of independence. So Krishna, God gives us independence. Why? Because He has independence. But His independence is unlimited. Ours is limited. We can't do anything, but we can do, so He gives us that. So, when you grow up, usually you move away from your home, your parents. You go out, you want your independence, right? Most of you did that. Does anyone still live with their parents? Yeah, still live with their parents. Yeah, in Indian culture it's not uncommon. People live at home. But in the West especially, we move out. Usually. Right? It's very common. So it's why, because you want your own space, you want your own independence. So we used to be with Krishna, but Krishna is not going to force us to stay there with Him, even though it's very blissful. Sometimes you get that feeling that you just want to use your independence. So He says, okay, you can have another world. But it's called apara prakriti. Right? Your soul will have to take birth in the material body, and your material body will go through certain changes. Birth, death, old age, disease. Right? There's certain problems you'll have to face. And Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, He calls this world, He calls it Dukalayam Ashashvatam. Dukalayam means Dukalaya. Dukalaya means
House of suffering.
Yeah, it means place of suffering. Dukkha. Dukkha means unhappiness or suffering. Difficulty. Challenges. Does anyone here know what I'm talking about? Right? You all seem well educated about it. This place is called Dukkalaya, which means a place of difficulty. Right? And you just look at the world now. Right? In my lifetime, I've never seen it like this. Right? It's right on the precipice of big problems. Big problems. Dukkalaya Ashashvatam. Ashashvatam means temporary. Everything here is temporary. The soul is eternal. When you live with Krishna, their body does not change. You never get old and you live forever eternally. But in this world, you have to keep going through samsara chakra. Samsara means birth and death. Right? You get born, right? But then you have to die. Just like you're in a particular body, there you have a family. Everyone's attached to their family, their body. But this will be taken away. And then you'll have to go into a completely different body again. And then you'll be attached to that family and body. And then that will be taken away. And then if I showed you a picture now of who you were 100 years ago in one of your previous lives, right? You would have no emotional attachment or engagement with that picture. But all of us are going through this cycle of birth and death continuously. Just like Anne Frank. Have you heard of Anne Frank? Hands up. You've heard of Anne Frank? Many people. She was a girl, World War II, Amsterdam, right? Was in the attic, up in the house. Was kept up there while the Nazis, and then eventually she was caught. They've proven she is now in this life, she is now an author in Sweden, right? You can Google it when you get home. right? Or I can Google it now for you if you want. Anne Frank, next life. I'm not going to do it now, though. But she, because when she was a child, her parents took her to the Anne Frank house, museum. She walked in, and actually as they were going there, she said, oh, it's this way. And then when they got there, she walked in and said, oh, where are the pictures? Like that, and they said to the curator, the people who look after the place, she says, there's pictures? They said, oh, we've taken them down to clean them. Right? And she remembered everything. Right? So you can Google it, it's there, it's documented. So these things are happening, but we get so attached to this upadi, this designation now. So we have to break our attachments in this world, right? So that we can then transcend and go back to live with Krishna eternally. Because this place is temporary, right? You will die, it is temporary, and it is full of suffering. Right? So if that's what you like, okay, enjoy yourselves. But if you want to go back to Krishna, we can teach you how to get there. It is possible to go back to Krishna. So who are we? Right? We are spirit. Right? Why are we here? Because we took a wrong turn a long time ago. We misused our independence. And now the next question is, what is the purpose of life? Do you ever ask yourself this question? What is the purpose of life? Yeah. Jivera Srupa Hoy Krishnera Nichadas. The soul, who we are Krishna Das. Krishna Das means servant of Krishna. We are servant. We're meant to serve. Seva or service is the nature of the soul. We're all serving, that's all we do. Like all of you came here today, right? And then after I speak, we will have lunch. So we've been spending the whole day serving you, preparing your lunch. They're doing it right now. They're cooking. So to feed everyone who came today. Right? All of us are serving. That's all we do. You serve your dog, or you'll serve your cat, or your family, or your nation, or humanity, or the trees, or the environment. Everyone is serving. But we'll never be fully happy and feel complete until we serve Krishna, until we serve God. You know, for myself, I was only 19 the first time I walked into a Hare Krishna temple. And when I walked in there when I was 19, I saw all the monks walking around. I thought, I want to be like them because they're peaceful. Because I had a good life. I grew up and my life was nice. I had nice things and nice life. But I always still felt a little bit empty. And I'd go to bed at night and I'd think, there must be more to life than this. And then when I met the Hare Krishnas and they began to teach me, then I understood, okay, my purpose is to serve Krishna. So that's what I've been doing now for the last 35 years. Right? I teach people about Krishna. I study these books, right? And I teach people how to perfect their life, how to feel complete, how to feel connected to Krishna, to God. So who are we? We're spirit. Why are we here? Because we misused our independence. What is our purpose? It is to serve Krishna, to serve God. When we do these things, we will feel happy and complete. So that's what this whole Hare Krishna Valley is for, just to teach people these things. So people come here, we do this dancing and chanting. Hands up if you like the dancing and chanting. That's good. Most people like it. That's good. Yeah, we like it. Because we're chanting the names of Krishna, the names of God. Abhinitva nama nama no. There is no difference between Krishna and his names. When you say Krishna, God is there. When you say Rama, which is another name of Krishna, God is there. Hare is his female counterpart, Radha. Well, that's her in the picture with Krishna. So we say Hare Krishna. Sometimes people say, is God man or woman? People ask this question. When they come here, they say, is God man? Yes, God is a man, but his counterpart is the female divine, Radha or Hare. So in our tradition, we worship both Hare Krishna. We don't just say Krishna Krishna, we say Hare Krishna. We actually worship the feminine before the masculine. Because women are softer, generally. So we say Hare first, and then we go to Krishna. Right? So some people say, we want God to be a woman. Okay, no problem. His counterpart is the the original goddess. And then he is masculine. Some people have problems with God being a man. I don't know why. Probably because we have so many stupid white men in the world, so they have problems with men. But not every man is stupid. Krishna's not. He's completely the opposite. And some of the men were not stupid entirely. You can ask my wife. You can interview her with her. She may disagree, but the point is that if we give our hearts, if we worship Krishna, we will be happy. That's what this Hare Krishna movement is for. That's why we have these farms. So we do the chanting because when you chant, you become purified. Cheto, dapana, marjanam. Your consciousness becomes purified when you chant. That's why we chant. We chant 2 hours every day. Do you know anyone who chants 2 hours every day? No? Many people. No? We do it. Many of us, we do it. We get up early in the morning. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. When I go to India, I get up at 3:30 in the morning. Right? And then we do our meditation, our chanting at that time. And it purifies the consciousness. And then we speak some philosophy, because you need philosophy in life. If you don't have philosophy, you'll be off track. And that's the problem with Western civilization. There's not a underpinning spiritual philosophy. Like if you go to India or go to the East, even Bali, places like that, in the morning what does everyone do? There's some sort of ritual, right? Some sort of spiritual practice. Like when you go to India, like you hear the bells ringing in the morning and the gong. Everyone gets up and they go to the temples. And what do they do in the West? When I stay in Melbourne, at the Hare Krishna temple, we have a mansion in Albert Park. Sometimes I stay up on the second floor and I look down in the morning and I can see people get up early, the neighbours, I can see into their, kind of like their living room, their kitchen. And they just get up in the morning, they put it on the television, drink coffee. It's not very spiritual. So not living their life in a spiritual way. That's not the point of life. Right? If we live our life like that, we will not become enlightened. Right? So we need a philosophy to underpin everything we do, so that we live in a spiritual way. And then we offer our food to Krishna. So my wife's just about to make an offering, because we've cooked many delicious vegetarian preparations today. But before we eat it, this is part of the Hare Krishna philosophy, we're going to make a plate and we're going to offer it to Krishna, to God first. Because you always serve the person who deserves the most respect or honor first. Right? Like in your homes, you'll serve your parents first, right? Before you eat. If people come to your house, you don't eat first. You don't start eating and say, would you like some? And people would be thinking like, who are these people? Where is the etiquette? Where is the culture? So what we do first, we're about to do an offering, we offer the food to Krishna. Once he accepts it and blesses it, and God actually eats it, right? He accepts the bhakti or the devotion, our love, he eats it and then he blesses it, and then what's left, when we serve it later on, that's called prasad, which people from India are familiar with that term, prasad. Prasad means blessed food. It means mercy or grace. So when we eat it, because it's been touched by Krishna himself and accepted by him, it has spiritual energy. So when you eat the prasad, you are becoming purified or enlightened just by eating. This Hare Krishna movement, you can become enlightened just by dancing and chanting like we did before, taking some vegetarian food offered to Krishna, and you can attain full enlightenment. How easy is that? It's a good system. I like it. Right? First time I came to the Hare Krishna temple, 1989, I walked in, and in Albert Park in our temple, and then they said, would you like lunch? And anyone who knows me, right, I probably eat more than anyone you've ever met in your life. I'm very, very well known. Is it true? That's probably true, yeah. You might meet other people who can compete with me, but you can bring them here and we can see if they can compete. But actually I'm eating less now because I'm getting older, but I used to eat a lot. So even now I still eat a lot. So I take the prasad I went there the first time. They said, would you like lunch? I said, yeah, sure. I went and sat down. They served me these delicious preparations. And then they said, would you like some more? I said, yeah, sure. So they did it again. Filled up my plate again. And they said, would you like some more? I said, yeah, sure. So they did it 3 times. Went through, ate the whole thing. And then I said, sign me up. I actually said to them, I said, can I move in? I said, can I join? Not just because of the food, it was the whole feeling I got there. I got the feeling of peace. And I got the feeling of these people were close to Krishna, close to God. They were close to enlightenment. They were living an enlightened existence. So I said, can I move in? And they said to me, actually you can't because you just walked in, we don't even know who you are. So I spent 2 hours convincing them. 2 hours. It took me 2 hours to convince them. I think I just wore them down and they said, okay, when can you move in? I said, just give me 3-4 days. Went home, told my mother, Mum, I'm becoming Hare Krishna. You can't do that. She actually said to me, I'll buy you a ticket to anywhere in the world right now if you don't do this. She said that to me. Because I've been talking about going to the Caribbean, to the Jamaica. She said, I'll buy you a ticket right now if you don't do this. And I said, Mum, it's too late. Right? Now I feel like I need to do this with my life. So then I moved into the temple. I became a monk. Lived as a monk for 8 years in Albert Park. And every year for the last 35 years ago, nearly every year, I go to India for 1 month to study with my gurus in the holy places. Very powerful experience. So that is the point. The point is that the food we eat, we always offer it to Krishna, to God. Because then we attain enlightenment. It's so easy, such an easy path of enlightenment. Anyone can do it. Right? A child can do it. Right? Anyone can do it. You don't have to be overly intelligent or overly qualified. Right? You just have to be sincere and you can become enlightened. It's such a simple process. Very practice. So, a few days ago was the full moon. Did you see the full moon?
Yeah.
Which day was it? Thursday. Yeah, it's called Purnima. In India, when the moon is full, we call it Purna. Purna means complete. Right now it's waning again. Right? Now it's going back down to dark moon. Right? So it goes like this perpetually. So a few days ago, that particular full moon, in India we call it Vyasa Purnima or Guru Purnima.
Guru Purnima.
Which one?
Guru Purnima.
Guru Purnima or Vyasa Purnima.
Vyasa Purnima.
Because the original guru is Vyasadeva. He's the original guru. So who was Vyasadeva? Vyasadeva was a great sage who lived 5,000 years ago. And he was there at the beginning of the age of Kali. Kali Yuga. You've heard of Kali Yuga?
Kali Yuga.
Yeah, many Indian people have heard Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the age that began 5,000 years ago. There are 4 ages, right? Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. Right? It takes about 4 million years to go through the cycle. It's like a universal cycle. Right? It takes about 4 million years or so. So every 4 million years, it's just like we have winter, right? Spring, autumn. Summer, autumn, winter. Like we just keep going through this cycle every year. So universally, we go through a cycle. It takes about 4 million years at a time. In our tradition, the earth we're creationists, we're not evolutionists. This doctrine of evolution has kind of taken over the planet. You know, everyone's taught evolution now. Do they teach it in India at the schools? Do they teach evolution?
Yeah.
They do. Okay. So it's kind of taken over the planet. In the West, we teach it evolution. But we're not evolutionists. We don't believe that Krishna or God created an amoeba, means a little germ. Right? And the little germ, over a couple of million years, grew and grew, turned into a tadpole. And then after a couple of years, million years, it became a lizard. And then land formed in this primordial soup in the universe. And then the lizard went up onto the land. And then after a couple of million years, he became a monkey. And after a couple of million years, the monkey was swinging in the tree and a human dropped out. A boy and a girl. One was called Adam, one was called Eve. And then Adam said, "Would you like to marry me?" And Eve said, "Yes, I would like to." And then, but that's the story. That's the evolution. We're not evolutionists. In our tradition, we understand God is a creationist. He created. So it didn't take millions of years for him to make something. He just goes, it's all done. It doesn't take him a million years to make like a amoeba become a human. He just looks, he said, humans, giraffes, monkeys, rhinoceros. It's all just automatic, like instant. That's power. Yeah, it doesn't take him minutes. He says, Aham savasha prabhavu mataha savam pravartate. Everything comes from me. Right? I am the source of everything, but he does it instantaneously. So in our tradition, for the millions of years, the earth has always been civilized. And 5,000 years ago, the Kali Yuga began. Kali means dark. This is the dark age. This is kind of like the winter of the 4 seasons. Does it feel like that? Yeah. It hasn't got bad yet. It hasn't got bad yet. We're only 5,000 years in. There's another 400,000 years to go. Yeah, it gets much darker. We're just seeing like the dark clouds beginning to form now. Like the age gets much more materialistic than this. So, 5,000 years ago, Veda Vyas, which was his birthday a few days ago, he decided to write all of this spiritual knowledge down into the Vedic texts. Because before that, books weren't always necessary, because people were so enlightened, they could just remember. It's called Shruti Dara. Shruti Dara means I say something to you, and you just remember it for the rest of your life. Right? Whereas these days, I say something to you, and then the next day you might not even remember what I said. Yeah, quite often that happens. You know, we say, "Oh, do you remember?" And they say, "Oh, can't really remember what you said." Like that. We have a playroom in the back as well if you want to play. He can sit here, but if he's restless, he can also go and play. There's a game room as well. So, because people are less enlightened now, we have books. So Veda Vyas wrote everything down with the help of Ganesh. Did you see in the meditation garden the statue of Ganesh? If you go in there, Ganesh is there. How many arms does Ganesh have? 4 arms. If you go there, you'll see the statue. Ganesh, he has 4 arms. So Vyas was speaking all this spiritual knowledge, and Ganesh was writing it all down into books. Right? He was writing it, and when his arms get tired, the other 2 come out, and then keep writing. So they went for days, just writing and writing and writing. We believe these things are actually true. We actually believe all these. We believe there is a person called Ganesh who has an elephant head and 4 arms, and he wrote the Vedas. So you can say, well, I would prefer to believe in evolution. And some people, well, I prefer to be like a Hare Krishna and believe in Ganesh, someone with an elephant head and 4 arms. So you can choose which camp you want to be in. Our food's definitely better. It is. So choose your camp. Choose your camp. You can hang out with the evolutionists, the atheists, or you can hang out with us. I know who I believe is more enlightened. Have I ever seen someone with an elephant head and 4 arms? No. Do I believe he exists? Yes, I do. Right? I haven't seen everything in the universe. Right? I haven't seen everything, and I know that I'm limited, so there's no doubt there are higher beings within this universe that exist, so I do believe these things. So he wrote down the Vedas. So we call him Veda Vyas. He's the great sage that he appeared a few days ago. So then in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about receiving spiritual knowledge. The 4th chapter is called Jnana Yoga. Chapter 3 is called Karma Yoga. What does karma mean? Action, activity. Right? Karma means action. We're all doing karma every day. We're all doing activity every day. Right? We do good karma or bad karma. Right? The choice is yours. You can do good karma or you can do bad karma. That's up to you. No one's forcing you to do either. It's your choice. Or there's a 3rd category Krishna speaks about in Bhagavad Gita called akarma. Akarma means spiritual activity, like what I'm doing now. This is not good, it's not bad, it's spiritual. Right? It leads to a higher consciousness. Right? So there are different types of karma. So Krishna speaks about this. Then in chapter 4 he speaks about jnana yoga. Jnana means knowledge. Right? So when your action is guided by knowledge, spiritual knowledge, divya jnana, it becomes spiritual activity. Right? So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, what is the best way to get spiritual knowledge? What is the best way? What is your answer? What's the best way to get spiritual knowledge?
Practice.
From Guru.
From Guru. Very good. Have you read the Bhagavad Gita?
Sometimes like here
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah, because Krishna says your answer is correct. He says, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprishnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. Tattva darshana, darshan means to see. Tattva means the truth. A guru is one who has seen the truth. So he can guide you. So that's the best way to get spiritual knowledge. You come to someone who is enlightened. And they can guide you. And they can give you spiritual knowledge. They can guide your actions. So you don't do bad karma in this world. You do spiritual activities and then you can get out of this world. So we all need a guru. That's what Krishna recommends in the Bhagavad Gita. He says you need a guru. I have a guru. Right? Atuya, she has a guru. Right? We all have gurus. Right? We need gurus. Right? Because they will guide us to go back to Krishna. So when he says, if you want spiritual knowledge, approach a guru. And he gives 3 elements that must be there when you approach the guru. The first one is submission. Submission means humility. Did you see when you drove in, there's signs along the driveway? What was the first sign?
Humility.
Very good. You get a free dessert. Humility. No, what was number 2?
Peacefulness.
Oh. This guy's good. What was number 3?
I missed that.
You missed that.
All right.
Generosity.
No, that's the 4th.
That's the 4th.
Yeah, close. Like that.
Hare
Simplicity. As you go down, there's all these different ones. 12 qualities that you should imbibe when you come in. But the first one is humility. In other words, you have to be submissive. You have to be humble when you come before the guru. If you think you know everything, have you ever met someone who thinks they know everything? Is that a good way to live life? I know. Sometimes I meet people. I go to India every year. And sometimes I'm sitting on the train and I'm dressed like a spirit. I'm wearing dhoti, wearing robes and tilak, and I look like a spiritual person. And then some Indian person sitting opposite me says, you know Krishna. I said, yeah, I know Krishna. I dedicate my whole life to him. Are you knowing? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, and then they give like their interpretation. Quite often they give an interpretation, and then because I study Bhagavad Gita, I said, Krishna doesn't say that in the Bhagavad Gita. What are you talking about? I know, like that. And then it doesn't matter what you say to them, you can't change their mind. Because they're not submissive. And if you're not submissive or humble, you don't learn anything. So you have to be humble, you have to be submissive. That's the first way to get knowledge from a guru. Second way is you have to inquire. You have to ask questions. Just like if you don't understand something, you have to ask. Right? Sometimes we're like that, or do you know people like that? They don't ask questions. Like they think they know what they're doing, but they don't really know what they're doing. Like, have you ever opened up a box and broken something because you didn't read the instruction manual? Have you ever done that? I've done it.
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. Okay, that's not good. Do it once or twice, but don't. If you're doing it most of the time, then find the instruction manual. Right? So it means we have to inquire. Like if you open the box and you don't know, then read the instruction manual, inquire what to do. If you meet a guru, inquire, ask him, how do I live my life? How do I know Krishna? How do I become spiritually enlightened? Ask the questions and they will tell you. Right? So you have to make inquiries and you have to be submissive. And the third element, if you want to become enlightened, you have to perform seva. Seva means you have to come to do service. Just like here at Hare Krishna Valley, a lot of Hare Krishna Valley runs on seva, service, voluntary service. Just like Nisha, our friend, Nishta, Aditya, our friends, our good friends, they come here, they help us, right? Because we have to cook for all of you today, right? And there's only like 4 of us living here, and we're busy, so we need help, right? So people come and they offer service. Oh, can I, Caleb, who's walking around, right? People come here, can I do seva? And when you have that attitude of service, then the knowledge will sink into your consciousness. Right? If you don't have a service attitude when you come before the guru, you won't understand anything. Does it make sense? Right? There's a direct correlation between your service attitude and becoming enlightened. Right? Because if you don't understand, or in other words, you will not understand unless you have, right, the attitude of service. Does it make sense? So Krishna says these 3 things. To become enlightened, you need to be submissive or humble. Right? You need to inquire and you need to render service. Then all this knowledge will become, it will enter within you and you will become enlightened. So I thought I would mention that today because a few days was Guru Purnima. It was the disappearance of Srila Sanatana Goswami, one of our great gurus. So it's very important that we understand this relationship with Guru. Right? You need Guru. I mean, many people actually come here and they say to me, you don't need Guru. That's a very... it's a very strange way to look at spirituality. For example, if you go to university, I think many of you have been to university, did you have a professor or a teacher? Would you have learned as much if you didn't have a professor or a teacher? It would be difficult. Like even now, AI is rising, right? And a lot of the education is going to be by AI going into the future very shortly. AI is a sum total of all of us, everyone on the planet, all the knowledge combined, given. So effectively, it's still the same thing. You're just learning from others. You're learning from teachers, right? So you need a professor. You need a guru. You need a teacher. Right? So when it comes to spirituality, for some strange reason, people come here and they say this to me quite often, we don't need a guru. Everything is within. I can just feel it. I've even had people in front of me, like I've given them a Bhagavad Gita, this book, and the book is full of knowledge. And some people have said to me, I don't need to read it, I just need to feel it. Okay, that's fantastic. You're only going to get so far. It's like going to, say you went to university to study brain surgery, right? And you went in and they gave you all the books for a 6-year course to understand it, and you just went in every day and you said to your professor, I can feel what to do. I can feel it. I know how to operate on your brain. Would you trust that guy? Right, and he leaves university. He says, "Oh, don't worry, I'll take care. I'll take care of your tumor. Don't worry. I felt everything." Doesn't even make sense. But then when people come to spiritual life, for some reason they think we just have to feel it. We don't need a guide. We don't need philosophy. We don't need books. We don't need teachers, gurus. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. So a few days ago was Guru Purnima. So I thought I would mention a little bit about gurus for you. So I'll ask if anyone has any questions or any comments about anything that we've discussed. We leave a little bit of time for question and answers. So if you have any questions, any comments, anything you would like to ask about what we spoke about today or what we did not speak about today, anything you can ask. Alina?
Yeah, Keshava Prabhu, I'm just wondering about the mini Sati Yuga, which is going to start from 2026. You know that? The mini Sati Yuga?
The mini?
Mini one, which is
Yeah.
10,000 years, which will have had before. Can you tell us a bit more about this time, please?
Yeah, so it says this dark age we're in now, which is called Kali Yuga, lasts for 432,000 years, and that started 5,000 years ago. And it's a dark age, and basically everything goes downhill. However, it is written in the ancient teachings, mentioned that there is a 10,000 year golden period which started 500 years ago when Krishna came again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that will go for another 9,500 years. So what it means is Kali Yuga still gets dark, but there are devotees or people who are dedicated to Krishna, places like this, for the next 9,500 years, which are there, that we can still take shelter of and we can receive spiritual enlightenment. So the darkness will continue around us, but there'll be like these pockets of spiritual enlightenment. And it actually is predicted that things will get really bad and then many people will turn to spirituality, which we see. Whenever there's a calamity, everyone gets spiritual. Like after COVID, our temples have been more busy than ever. Like everything just been, I mean, COVID's good for business. If you're running a spiritual business, like, pandemics, wars, floods, all the problems of the world, the more they're there, the more people actually take to spirituality. So we're going to see that in the next 9,500 years. We're going to see a lot of problems. We're going to see a lot of people coming to a genuine spiritual path. Because the problem is, in the world, one problem is, there's a lot of pseudo spirituality, which means there's a lot of cheating gurus around. People who aren't teaching genuine spirituality. The people who tell you, just feel the books. There's a lot of gurus like, I've met them. Just feel it. Or there's, the gurus say they give you Shaktipat. They put their hand on your head and you become enlightened. They just touch you and you, it's like, what is that? Like, if that actually worked, I'd go there now. If someone just touched you on the head and suddenly you're enlightened. But people actually buy into these things. I even heard one guru say, he goes, I am enlightened. He said it like that. He said, I am enlightened. I'm like, man, if I spend 5 minutes with you, I'll probably prove you're not. Probably. I mean, if you are, I hope you are. But it's very rare. Usually people who are enlightened don't say they are. Like Prabhupada was enlightened, and people would say to Prabhupada, have you seen Krishna? And he said, even if I say yes, how will you know? I can say yes, I've seen Krishna. No. And he said, how will you know? So you have to test the guru. It actually says that in the ancient teachings, you need to test the guru. Right? You need to spend time with the guru and listen to him and see his behavior and see if he's a genuine sadhu, which means spiritual person. Is that okay? Good question. Any other questions?
What constitutes, what's the behaviour that an authorised or authentic sort of guru would demonstrate? Because unless you know what you're really looking for, because many people think that they've found it, but they haven't. But so what should a guru, what qualities or should they demonstrate?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so how do we know if someone is a genuine guru? If you're looking for a genuine guru, how do you know if someone is genuine guru? First thing is the guru will never say he is God. Many gurus actually say this. They are God. Or, when their followers say they're God, they don't dispute it. There was one famous guru coming from India a number of years ago. He's passed away now. He had big afro haircut. You might know him. No, not Osho. There's another one. Another one. Yeah, such a Sai Baba. I wasn't going to say his name, but you all know. So Sai Baba like that. And there's also Osho. There's all these different ones. So sometimes, like his followers would say, oh, he is Bhagwan, he's an incarnation, an avatar of Krishna. So if someone says he is God, because he would not dispute it. You know, people would say he is God, he would not say he wasn't. That means he's not an actual guru. Because if you are Krishna, if you're a God, you have to be all-powerful. You can't just be, you know, someone with a big afro haircut who just brings out a little bit of gold. Actually, there's one video where they see he brings from his kaftan, he brings the gold from up his... So it was like a magic trick, so to speak. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for a cheating guru, then you will get cheated. But if you want a genuine guru, you have to look at someone who doesn't say he is God, but he says, I am servant of God. Right? Like Prabhupada, you would say like that. I'm servant. And then you judge the acha and the pracha. Acha means what do they speak, pracha means what do they do, their behavior. Because if someone's enlightened, they will act in an enlightened way. And if someone is enlightened, they will speak in an enlightened way. Right? So you have to study very carefully the guru. So these are some of the qualities that we need to look for. Any other questions? Yeah.
Can we choose Prabhupada as our guru instead of finding a guru in real life?
Prabhupada is the guru for all of us in the Hare Krishna movement. Right? Because his books are the guiding... Everything we do is based on his teachings. So he is our guru. Part of his teachings, he said, you must have a living guru. So you have to, if you become serious and committed, you take initiation, you take your vows before one of his representatives. Like my guru was his disciple. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Evam parampara praptam imam rajashyo vidu. So the parampara, or the disciplic succession, guru to disciple, guru to disciple, guru, it must continue. You need a living guru. Because if you just read the books, which is good, but then you might have some parts of your personality, or you might have some of your practices which need some guidance or refinement, who's going to tell you? Because then you're saying, I just read the books, and basically that's what's happened in churchianity, or what we call these days Christianity. The guru lived 2,000 years ago. Everyone says we're following his teachings, but when you come, it says in the Bible, thou shalt not kill. But when you say to Christians, why are you eating meat? Right? And then they say, well, thou shalt not kill means kill human beings. Then why doesn't it say that? Why doesn't it say, thou shalt not kill human beings? It doesn't say that. It says in Genesis, God gave us dominion over all the animals, right? And the plants and everything. Dominion means you're meant to protect them, not kill them. Like here at Hare Krishna Valley, our cows, we protect them. Oh, we don't kill them. We would never kill them. Right? So that's why you need a living guru. Someone who can tell you, okay, you're doing the wrong thing. Otherwise, yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
In our daily lives, we are always associating with all sorts of people, with all sorts of personalities.
Teachers.
So how can we associate with the right kind of people and the power of association with devotees?
Yeah, I mean, in the modern world, it's hard to associate with the devotees all the time, because unless your work or job is within the Hare Krishna movement, the spiritual movement, then that's difficult. For me, it's okay because this is all I do all the time, so it's okay. But then, you're a teacher, so then you're at school, and the other staff members are not necessarily enlightened people. They may be some of them might be very materialistic. So then that's a difficult situation. So that means that whenever you're not at school, then you have to spend as much time as you can with the spiritual practitioners or the devotees of Krishna. And then when you're at school, any opportunity you can, you try to share enlightened teachings with them. Just like one of the devotees the other day, he sent me there's a school camp up in Marysville, OEG. Have you heard of that one? Yeah, you've heard it. So this devotee the other day, he sent to myself and Annie Rupa, and he said, why don't we buy it? It's for sale. Why don't we buy it? And then we can run our own camps, yeah. You know, the kids can come and then, you know, they can have their school camps. So we can throw in a little bit of spiritual stuff as well. And, you know, the discussion point as well, everything has to be vegetarian. So obviously not everyone's going to be into that, but we have to present it like that. You know, so it just means in this world it's challenging because not everyone's enlightened. So you have to share whatever you can like that to try to help people. That's why we have these places. So people can come here. Everything here is spiritual. You can learn. And then other places we just try to infuse it within society as much as we can. So yeah, it's not easy. You know, because you need money, you need to work. The way society is set up, you have to be on the outside sometimes. And so, but then in one sense, it makes you more appreciative when you are with the spiritual practitioners, the devotees, because then it's like going into the oasis in the desert sometimes. Because sometimes you're with, on the outside, people are so materialistic. It starts to affect you. You say, oh, I can't believe. Like just down behind this farm, there's a lake. So a few summers ago, we went down there. It was about 40 degrees, a very hot day. So we went down to the lake, and the lake's on private property. It's our neighbours. So we arrived there, and they were having barbecue. So they're cooking meat, and they're drinking beer and everything. And they have a boat, like a speedboat, and they go around the lake, and they have biscuits, like big tyres on the back, and you sit on them. And so they're taking us around, like, you know, driving. It's a lot of fun, you know. But then they're having their barbecue. They say, oh, do you want a sausage or something? And they say, oh, you know, sorry, but we don't eat like that. You want a beer? Sorry. It's like, so it's just the way the world is. It's not very enlightened like that. So, but, you know, we have to somehow interface. We have to somehow just share our spirituality with them. And they actually said to us, because they've been here, our neighbours, and they said, we love you people. You know, you always feed people, and you always take care of people, and you always, you know, we love you people. But do you want a beer? No. But thank you for the offer. Oh, you guys don't drink, do you? No, we don't. You want a sausage? No. Oh, you don't eat meat, do you? No. You know, we probably told you about 20 times. We don't. So yeah, it's difficult. But yeah, we just have to try to share our culture. Any other questions? We have a few more minutes, so if anything you want to ask, anyone's good.
Sorry, I'm quite new devotee, so I might ask a silly question, but
That's okay.
in order to develop a better relationship with Krishna,
Yeah.
do I need to understand my Swarupa in order to be closer to him, or I just serve and read Mahamantra and study scriptures and that's enough? Or like, what can you say about Swarupas and different type of relationship with Krishna?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Prabodhananda Saraswati, who is one of our gurus, like same time as Six Goswamis. You know Six Goswamis? Yeah, so same time. He said, dive into the ocean of being a servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So just serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like what we're doing here, this is serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Helping other people become Krishna conscious. Dive into that ocean. And then he said, one day you will come up on the shore of your relationship with Radha and Krishna. Your eternal relationship with Krishna. So you don't have to worry about what your swarup is now, because you don't know. And it's too early for you to know.
But do you know yours?
I don't know mine, but feelings are coming.
Okay.
Feelings are coming. But these are very confidential things. You don't speak about them publicly.
Okay.
You know, we don't speak about who we are in the spiritual world with Krishna, because, like Prabhupada said, even if I told you, how do you know it's true?
Mm.
So you might say, I'm a gopi or something, but how do you know? You don't know. You still have material desires. So how do you know? Right? You have material desires. When all the material desires are gone, from your service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you will come up on the shore of Radha Krishna and you will understand your Sarupa. So take one step at a time with that. You know, you're just beginning to go on the mountain, and you know what will happen? You'll go to the top of the mountain, and you know what happens when you get to the top of the mountain? You see there's another valley on the other side, and there's a bigger mountain. Right? I've been doing this 35 years. When I started, I thought, wow, I'm learning so much, and I'm feeling so blissful. If I do this for another 2 years, I'll be fully enlightened. I actually thought that. And then after 2 years, I looked down and I thought, my God, I've got so far to go. And now after another 10 years, oh my God, so far to go. It's like, this is a lifetime commitment, even more than one lifetime commitment. Your Sarup will come when you're ready. You don't need to worry about or delve too deeply into those things now. What is the first teaching in the Bhagavad Gita? You're not the body. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Theoretically you do, but have you realized it? No. Because still you're attached to your body. You know, some of the things you do in your day are not to do with Krishna, they're to do with your body. You understand? You have material desires still. You understand? Right. So until that is overcome, and you go beyond that, you become enlightened, then you can't understand who you are, your Sarupa. Right? So just take it gradually. Because if Prabhupada wanted to do it like that, he would have done it like that. He would have given everyone their Sarupa. He would have told you who you are. He didn't do it like that. It's interesting. Because some gurus do it like that. But Prabhupada did not. So you have to choose your guru very carefully. This is my guru, Prabhupada, and I follow his line. So my guru is his disciple, I follow his line. Which means you have to gradually become enlightened. It's not cheap. Not cheap. If some guru says, oh, I tell you a Sarup, and you know, maybe they're not qualified to be a guru. Maybe. Does that answer?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. Any other question? Okay. Thank you all for coming. Is anyone hungry? Okay, one man. Yeah, so the rest of you, we'll see you next time. But for this one gentleman who's hungry, if you go out the door, we'll turn left and we'll go. We have a dining room, so I think we're going to serve the feast there. The dining room doesn't have enough chairs for everyone here, so some may have to sit outside. So maybe the elderly people, let them sit inside like that, and maybe the children, they can sit. But the rest of us, we're strong. Even though it's a bit cold outside, we can maybe just sit around or like that. And then after lunch, we'll go over to the Goshala, which is on the other side where the dairy is, and you can visit the sacred cows. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you next time. Hare Krishna.